Okay, so here's the start of my 1v1 game versus El Capo. You can see I had a nice strong Russia with 9 infantry surviving that first round. That's a fantastic start. Ukraine, I forget what happened in Ukraine. So I was down to 2 tanks in Ukraine, so kind of a normal Ukraine. So he countered. He did lose. I put my AA in there. He did lose a fighter, so he's down to 4 fighters. So I got 9 infantry, him down to 4 fighters. All that's nice. He did have a nice C-Zone 7, though, where he only lost 1 sub, so he did get that. He did 5 infantry, 2 artillery, 1 tank, 1 bomber by. Presumably, he's wanting to make sure that he can stack Karelia on G2. If this ends up going at KJF, I probably won't attack here, as I'll just attack these 2 and make sure I wipe them. If it's a KGF, I probably will. I'll have to think about that. We'll see. Either way, I really do want to use my fighter for attacking and not have to kill the transport. So we're going to try a destroyer, cruiser, fighter, bomber for the kill here. Odds are pretty good. And we'll use our fighter still to kill C-Zone 5 here. Still debating whether I should do the drop here or drop there. Here, drop there, drop everywhere, drop. And, you know, I'll have I'm building a destroyer carrier. So we'd have a destroyer carrier and 2 fighters guaranteed here versus a 5 build. If we went with the transport, or if a destroyer or cruiser lived, we could go up there and we'd still, be able to keep our transport. I still go back and forth on this, I'll be honest, on whether to drop there or not. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do it just in case. And if a sub lives, then I can drop my fleet up here, and that way he has to use 1 of attacking C-Zone 8, and then the rest could attack C-Zone 7, possibly. We'll see. We'll figure that out, depending on how the battle goes. Hopefully it just clears out nicely, and we don't got to worry about none of that nonsense. Otherwise, we are going to do our sub-infantry build in India. And, yeah. I think I've already done my purchases. Yep. Infantry, sub, destroyer, carrier. We're ready to roll. Unfortunately, he did have both lives, so we are going to have to go all in. The good news is, again, he couldn't stack any of these 3, or didn't stack any of these 3. So we should be able to defend West Russia pretty easily, so we can count on the U.S. fighter to come to TJ to support versus battleship bomber build, and even possibly a Russian fighter is a possibly 1, 2, 3, 4 that we could bring back here too if we really feel like we need it for any reason. Besides, that extra 6 IPC goes nicely if we end up needing to do an India build on UK2. Having that extra money goes nicely, so I think I do like going there, even though I lose my transport most of the time. I'm still playing around with that. Like I said, I used to always go C-Zone 7. I'm starting to play around more with going ahead and taking France, even at a little slightly lost IPC value immediately, but it does give IPC that could be built down here instead. So, interesting little way of thinking about it. All right, I think that's all our builds. Let's go with it. Or all our attacks, excuse me. Two hits, 1 round. Nice, clean kill. Oh, good gracious. Oh boy, this isn't pretty. This is gonna get ugly if we don't. Whew, thank heavens. Woo! That was gonna get ugly if he got another hit, to be honest. As is, it's not gonna be super pretty, but I think we'll be alright. Man. Had me worried there. There we go. Good. Nice. Bonus. We'll take the bonus. One more. We want 2 hits at least on the first round so we can kill the subs. Assuming that they're set to go first. And then submerge if... Oh, 1 hit. Dang it. Oh, nice. Alright, well, continue on. There we go. So now I can take the destroyer as the hit. That's okay. I think with that cruiser living, I am tempted to go ahead and drop here, even though I had the drop. If I don't, he'll kill the transport anyways. We're going to move him on down into there. I got to think about him. We could land him on the carrier, but he doesn't get a chance to help retake this next turn, which I prefer. So I really prefer having him here. It gives them a decent option to go there. I'm gonna think a second. Yeah. I was just double checking my thoughts. For some reason I was thinking, well, if he struck here and went here, then he'd pull away from the cruiser, but then he'd land in the range of the fighter here to hit him. So we'll be covered there regardless. You know what? This bomber... Since I'm going to drop my fleet here, they're going to be covering... C-Zone 14, unless he hits it, in which case the bomber's not going to do any good by itself anyways. I mean, we'll have to figure something out anyways if he does hit it, and then pull his battleship out. But otherwise, if he does move his battleship to here, then we've got carrier, destroyer, and 2 fighters that could hit it. So we'll have that taken care of. If he went 15... We'll have 2 fighters, and even if I put my bomber here, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and come back. So I'm going to stick with my original plan of putting the bomber in here. That just means I need to make sure I get some units to cover it up so that the German bomber doesn't get a free shot at him. Which I don't think he'll hit this. You know, with the Russian infantry and the UK fighter, does not make this a very good battle for them. And then that helps the bomber put pressure here, as well as pressure on the C-Zone 60 builds, so that we could, you know, do various things. Kind of like if I already published a team game, how it gave us an option to hit and land on 59 and different things. So we're gonna go with that guy there instead. As I think about it more, that means I can free up this fighter, because the bomber could do the trade there next turn. I'm gonna pause for a second. I feel like I always wanted this fighter to not go there for a reason. I'm just blanking. I think it's more so when they're stacking up here and I need it to be able to reach up here, but my mind's blanking on me for a moment. I'm gonna look at the board for a second. Yeah, I think this time I'm gonna go ahead and land them over here. The main thing is, you know, I could land them potentially up here, and you'd still be able to cover Egypt, which is my main thing, is I want to be able to cover Egypt, as well as C-Zone 32. That's my other thing. I want to be able to cover Egypt and C-Zone 32. I could do that from up here, and that would help me if, in case this did not go well, to build and be able to help stack West Russia and here. But I think we're just going to deal with it. If Russia doesn't do well here, we'll just deal with it in that case. So I think that's where we're going to go. I think we're going to wrap it up like that. Ooh, I need to change my defensive profile. And there we go. I mean, the good news, if he decides to hit the cruiser, that's a 50-50. I'd take out another fighter. I'll take that. Or, if he takes out this, I got a cruiser ready to go with another build. You know, versus whatever he has living. So, there we go.